What's up guys, it's Colby Brock, welcome back to my channel. Actually, this is a little bit different video. I don't think it's being posted on my channel, but I'm in Hawaii right now in my beautiful backyard, and I just wanted to say hi. Just talk a little bit, me and you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with a little communication. I hope you guys are all having a great day. So let's talk about life, shall we? So obviously you guys know this, you're not living under a rock, but the world is kind of in a pickle. We're in a situation where literally people haven't seen something like this for 100 years. And because of this crazy situation we're in, there's people all around the world who are dealing with a lot of anxiety about how to handle this. And honestly, nobody really even knows what to do, so everybody's leaning on each other for support. For example, this is probably been like 1 month since I heard about the quarantine, and my life has changed immensely. I literally moved from an apartment living by myself into a giant house with a bunch of my best friends, doing all that while having to juggle all the work I've been doing, all the meetings, the phone calls that are now online instead, which is super weird. And there's some points where it even overwhelms me so much where I just think to myself, like, how are we ever gonna get out of this situation? And to be honest, it can be scary at sometimes, but here's what I've been telling myself. Everybody in the entire world, no matter who you are, is dealing with this. We all have our different lives, of course, and different situations we're in, but we're all still dealing with this pandemic that we're gonna have to work together to overcome. But before I get into more of that, I wanna talk about one thing specifically. Why? Why do times like these or new situations make you feel worried or anxious? Well, guess what? I got the answer. It's because when you're at home, which you should be, and there's hardly anything occupying your mind and you start to overthink and maybe you're not as productive as you were before the quarantine, all this stuff starts to build up and up and up and up, and it just makes you feel anxious and worried and makes you scared for the future and gives you an uncomfortable feeling inside. Listen guys, humans innately do not like change. They love feeling comfortable. For most people, the thought of change or doing things differently gives them anxiety. People hate not knowing what's going on in the future or how to deal with a certain situation that they've never seen before because the unknown is just plain freaky. And guys, I was one of those people. As soon as all the media and the news outlets and stuff like that, things on Twitter I read, started making a huge deal about this coronavirus, which it is, I'm not saying it isn't, it made me feel anxious. It made me feel nervous about my safety, my parents' safety, my friends' safety. The list goes on and on and on. Like I was genuinely getting worried. Like there was literally sometimes I had to sit down and tell myself in my head, dude, you're gonna be okay. Everybody's going through this. We're gonna figure this out. Don't worry about it. But you're probably saying, how do you feel like this when you don't know about the future and you are uncertain about what's gonna happen next? And honestly, I can make myself feel better by the way I think and the way I use my time. So let's get into that. I just want to give you some tips and tricks on how to deal with your anxiety for times especially like this, and if you're just home alone feeling a little worried. So the number one thing I would say to do is to focus on the facts. For example, talking about when I first started hearing about the coronavirus, I was freaking myself out because I was watching all these media and news outlets that were like talking how there was going to be a doomsday and the world was never going to be the same and yada yada yada, this bad thing, and it was freaking me out. Every single time I would go on Twitter, which I'm sure a lot of you guys saw too, I would look at my trending hashtags and it would just be another worldwide trending thing about the coronavirus and about how the entire human population was screwed. But here's what would really help to do instead. You should look at anything you read on social media, all the news outlets, all the media you are consuming, and just take it with a grain of salt and focus on the facts. Guys, just look into the hard, cold numbers of the virus, like the statistics of everything. Watch news that gives you tips on how to protect yourselves and the people around you, and not the news that freaks you out or overhypes things. Listen, all I'm trying to say is that you consciously consume the things that you are taking in, whether it be from your friends even. The most important thing that I've learned throughout all of this to do to protect yourself from COVID-19 is wash your hands and do not touch your face. Doing this, staying at home, and limiting like being in public or talking to other people is your best, most safe practices you can use to not get this virus. And honestly, keeping all of that on top of mind and not looking at the media that freaks me out has made me feel so much better. So I 100% recommend that you do that too. So let's say you look into the facts, right? But you're still anxious about what could happen. Like your mind is still in that state that you just can't seem to escape. The best thing you can do in that scenario is just distract your mind in general. If you're feeling anxious and you keep reading about the stuff that's freaking you out or overthinking things in your head, it's just gonna make that situation a whole lot worse. Instead, what you gotta do is try your best to distract your mind. And I know this is really hard and definitely takes practice to make perfect, but you gotta at least try. For example, picking up a new hobby, or reading a book, or watching YouTube videos that make you laugh, watching movies that make you laugh, going and calling a friend, talking to your parents, anything that gets your mind off the virus, anything. And speaking of that, calling and talking to a friend about something and actually having human interaction, even if you are alone by yourself, is perfect for a situation like this. Even though we're not allowed to leave our houses and we're all pretty much stuck, we still have the technology we have today to make a phone call to a friend, Skype our friends, FaceTime people. Like, guys, we live in a time where we can actually use this technology. Let's pick up our phones and call somebody every once in a while just to have a conversation. Sometimes all you need is just to talk to somebody about how you're feeling and hear somebody out, and that communication itself can make you feel so much better. Next thing you should do is just focus on the positive things and try your best not to let the negative creep in. And again, I know this is really hard, and like I said before, practice makes perfect with all of this, but if you're sitting by yourself and a thought comes to your mind that makes you kind of feel uneasy about this whole situation, it's kind of like distracting your mind. Just think of something positive instead, or just get up and do something different. I think a really important good way to make sure that you're in the right mental state during all of this too is just getting enough sleep, exercise, and eating healthy. Like, guys, science has literally proven that if our immune systems are healthy, then we feel better mentally as well. And the best way to do that is by eating healthy and not eating Doritos for 4 hours a day like I did at first. And for some reason, the word exercise has such like a bad taste in people's mouths, but it doesn't have to be like that. Like, I'm not saying you have to go run 5 miles on a treadmill or lift 50-pound weights for 3 hours in a gym. Like, no. Obviously, that's not realistic, and most of the gyms are closed anyways. But what you can do to get that exercise in is just really simple things like a few push-ups or sit-ups or going on a small walk. It doesn't even matter. The point is that you get off of your couch and just go do something and be active. Don't let yourself just lay around for days and days and days on end. If you're feeling anxious in the moment, you can even go as far as doing some breathing exercises, like breathing in for 4 counts, holding it for 4, exhaling for 4 counts, and then releasing it for 4. Stuff like that, and literally calming down your respiratory system can trick your brain into feeling way better. And also, this is the perfect time to like look into meditation, or like sitting down and being alone with your thoughts and figuring out and researching how you can deal with your own thoughts in a positive way. And hey, that's what's been working perfect for me, is practicing meditating and getting up early and trying to stay as motivated as possible. But I want to go to my favorite and main point of this. It's quarantine, but there's still cars and helicopters everywhere. Cool. My main point of this is that you can get ahead of the rest of the world right now if you wanted to. Like, if you take this time to grab a calendar or planner and start setting goals for yourself while the rest of the world doesn't really know what to do, then technically you're being more productive than most everybody else. And guys, it's not about necessarily being productive and doing work and getting work done and exercising. It's not anything that you need to feel like, oh, I have to do this. What I mean by being productive and proactive, I guess is the right word, is more about self-care. Maybe it's just you figuring out how to be more alone with your thoughts and be content with that. Or maybe it's slowly working on getting off the couch. Being proactive and productive with your thoughts is all I'm trying to get across here. Guys, if you really try and put forth the effort, this is the time where you can literally buckle down and get a lot of things done or work on yourself while everybody else is dealing with this situation, so that you can get ahead. And besides like the first week or so, that is what I've been trying to do. I literally try to go play basketball every single day, which is my exercise. And one of my main goals right now, as sad as this sounds, is TikTok. I've literally been posting TikToks every single day of this quarantine, and it's just a goal of mine. It gets my mind off of things. It's like literally distracting me from thinking about what else is going on in the world, because I'm focused on my own stuff. So with all that being said, you guys get the point, and hopefully this helps. But again, I know I said this, but I think it's really important that I say it again. Just remember that you aren't alone during this situation. Literally everybody, no matter who you are, where you live, is dealing with this some way or another in the world. It's crazy to think about. So whatever anxiety or sadness or uncomfortable feelings you may be feeling right now, just know you're not alone in that, and they will go away. The more positive you are about the situation, the more happy you're gonna be, and in no time, this is all gonna pass. We're gonna move on. But I think the main reason people feel alone during these times is because of the isolation. Because I know there's a lot of people that are gonna say when they see this, like, Colby, I wanna be able to like talk to my friends or talk to family, but yada yada yada, I can't, or I don't think I have any friends I could talk to right now, or they're always way too busy, or I'm preoccupied in doing this, you know, whatever it may be. For now, just keep your head up, and tomorrow we're gonna talk to you about how you can find these deep connections with other people that you're looking for. Because in times like these, we need people. We need to work together to figure out how to overcome situations like this. So in tomorrow's video, I'm gonna take it a little step further and tell you how you can form those connections with other people. So just hold tight, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.